Hey everyone, and welcome back to Community Builds. There was no Community Builds last week because there weren't enough submissions, and I forgot to record Community Builds last night, or yesterday, so hopefully I'll be able to get it uploaded still today, just a little bit late. I'm going to just quickly jump into things. I had to do a little bit of work with mods because I had to download a bunch, and a couple weren't working right, but either way. First up is the Volvo that wouldn't load in 2 weeks ago in the last video. This is made by, where to go? It's way down here somewhere. Not that far. Right there. This is Volvo 740 by The Real Jesus. And apparently it does not have a description. I will check the actual thing. Yes, no description. Okay. So this looks like a Volvo 740 that has been turned into a rally car. Got headlights. Grill actually looks like a Volvo grill. That's pretty cool. Little light bar on the front. Looks like it has struts in the front with a straight axle in the back. Looks like it has fairly simple suspension. The logic looks like it's kind of the back of the rear seat. And then we have a little roll cage. I love it when people manage to fit roll cages into things on Scrap Mechanic. I know it's a rally car, but it's got really good articulation for a car. That's crazy. Does the hood open? It does. Looks like it opens from the driver's seat. There's no switch on the front. So let's see if I can get things to open. That's the door. Big door. That's for the little light bar and extra backlights. And then the pedals are the turn signals. That's funny. Okay, so it looks like there's no switch for the hood. That goes to a controller that's hidden behind the dash. So it's kind of hard to check out the engine. Got a skid plate, lower A-arms, and an upper strut. We have 2 springs, probably so it can go up and down. A inline 4. It having individual throttle bodies makes it look like a 3-cylinder, but it has 4 exhaust on this side, so it's an inline 4. Looks like it's naturally aspirated because it's got individual throttle bodies. Even have an alternator and stuff on the front. There's a little radiator up front there. Water pump or something on this side. Then there's all the ignition wires and everything on top. It's pretty good detail. I'm going to... Looks like it's this one. Yes, okay. Remove the hood and then I'll reload the car. The engine's even on an angle as it should be. That's cool. So yeah, that looks like the coil pack or something there, and then we have the wires for the spark plugs, radiator lines and everything. There's a lot of detail on this. I'm impressed. This looks really good. A little bit of work to get the springs to lower down a little bit. This looks really good. I miss building in so much detail on this. The trunk does open. We've got a proper trunk with space and a fuel cell inside. That's pretty cool. I like that. Good attention to detail with this one. I'll go back under it really quick. It's like we have a tube chassis in the front that connects to a normal chassis in the back. Simple 2-link in the rear, more than enough for what scrap needs. And then kind of the same thing going on with the back suspension to get the suspension travel that's desired. Got little wheels, we have brake rotors and calipers. That looks pretty good. Let's work on the exhaust, a full drive shaft with gearbox and everything. That gets about it for the bottom. A lot of suspension travel, wow. Good looking door. Of all things. Rear doors don't seem to open. Nice interior. Full of everything it needs. Not sure if that's a working speedometer and whatnot. Doesn't look like it. The wheel is on a bar, so it can angle up a little bit, or the steering column. Yeah, it's just the normal speedometer and tach and whatnot. Looks like the lights come on when I get in the seat. Shifter, handbrake. I thought something moved, but I don't think it did. Got mirrors, nice roll cage. Awesome. Typical steering lock for Scrap Mechanic. But I have a feeling it's the suspension that'll really set this apart, not aside. And yeah, it has a lot of suspension travel. The wheels drop out a lot from the normal ride height, and compress a lot too. I love it when vehicles have proper suspension in this. This handles really well. It's a little bouncy when it bottoms out, which is typical for Scrap Mechanic, but it handles all the bumps really well. The rear axle is articulating nicely. This is awesome. I really like this. This would be fun to race in. Soaks up the jumps really well. I wonder if it'll have enough speed to do this jump. Let's see. Probably not, especially since I just slid. Nope, not quite enough. It could probably handle being turned up like the engine for a higher speed, but I feel like the speed it goes is perfect for rally. This would be a lot of fun on an actual rally track. I need to get working on the community builds world. I like how it slides. It's very predictable, and if you want it to slide, it will. And then, if you don't really want it to slide, it kind of doesn't. And it's really easy to countersteer. Little bit of extra bounciness on that. This is awesome. I really like this. This is one of those cars that's just a lot of fun to drive. It handles everything great. Aside from the lights working a bit more realistically, and then putting a switch for the hood, I don't think I'd change anything on this. This is great. Is it all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive? It is only rear-wheel drive. This handles great for being rear-wheel drive. Typically cars, or vehicles in general, in scrap, typically if you don't make them all-wheel drive, they don't handle the greatest, but this is awesome. It doesn't understeer, it oversteers nicely. It oversteers in a way that's very manageable. Like I said, it's predictable and handles really well. This is great, especially for being as simple as it is. But I don't think there's much else to check out on it, so I'm going to move on to the next creation. This is great, and the bodywork looks really good. It's hard to do good-looking bodywork in this, but this looks really good. I like this. This is a lot of fun. But I need to move on to the next one. Lots of parts. I wish it listed what mods are needed in-game, but oh well. Alrighty, go back up to here. The next mod is Jeep or Something by M. Hansen. And this looks like it doesn't have a description either. Excuse me? No, it does not. Looks like a mix between a Jeep and a Toyota Land Cruiser. We have looks like a V-link suspension, a Y-link upper. Interesting using the pistons there. But are they doing like this? Oh, okay, it moves the springs over. That's interesting. I've never seen the springs move down here. I'm used to them moving up on the body. Big, heavy axles, big wheels. Interesting. I wonder what that does. Oh, that's for the lower pistons. Okay. I wonder if those move at all to, looks like there's a switch to that. Those might move to adjust the ride height or something. Looks like we have a mix of normal springs and pistons for the suspension. Interesting. Do they only attach down there? It looks like they don't attach up here. That's an interesting way of doing it. And then on the back, looks kind of the same. Interesting. I wonder how they're actually held on. We've got a radio. There's 2 AC units in the back. Looks like there's some storage as well. No engine or anything. Little skid plate there, looks like. Alright, so yeah, we've got some storage in the back. Big interior. This thing's huge. Simple, but it looks good. Looks like a little mock air intake there. Is there an exhaust? Doesn't look like there's a mock exhaust or anything. Bodywork does look pretty good, though. The front's pretty simple. The back looks pretty good. What do the switches do? So number 1 is the, I'm assuming a rear locker kind of thing, or like a low gear. Or it's for a dig. And then 3 does lights. 4 looks like it's the radio. Yeah, 4 is the radio. 5 is the suspension. It does the upper pistons. Interesting. And 6 is the lower ones, which can change the ride height and how it handles a bit. That's interesting. And then it looks like the upper ones just kind of sit there as well. I've never seen it done like that before. I wonder how this is going to handle. And it looks like it also uses the ball joint mod. Alright, so if I'm correct, this will just lock the wheel. Yeah, this locks the wheel for like a bit of a dig, helps with the turning. Very nice to have while crawling, something we really need in being. Got a license plate on the rear axle. Oh. Typical torque issues in scrap mechanic, but that's fine. Can't blame the creation for that. It feels a little top heavy and a little rolly. It could definitely benefit from sway bars, but other than that, it's really good. It seems to be a little bit understeery. Go back over the bumps this way. Lots of suspension travel. A lot of suspension travel. All I'd really recommend for this is a rear sway bar. It would help the handling a little bit. Takes the jumps really well. by having so much suspension travel it would, especially if I lift it up. That's what, 6? Yes, 6 lifts it up a bit more. Go back. Oop! It wants to roll with the springs slid into the middle. Let's try these again. There we go. Handling it much better. That's awesome. The way the upper arms or upper links are for the axles, at least the rear axle limits the flex in one direction. So I would recommend changing that a little bit. That's kind of interesting how the rear end is done with the extra bearings. It's kind of weird. I'm surprised you didn't do the same as the front as you did on the rear. Front's probably got a ball joint, and then there could be a ball joint there, but then there's this extra little bit. Not sure what that's for. Go back down to the flat spot and see what the flex is. Have a look at the rear end while it's flexing. Alright, over here is good enough. Oops. Launched myself out of the back of it. Okay. Let's take a look at how this is moving. So with the way the bar is, I gotta lift up the front, not the back. Look at this properly. Okay, so with the way this is moving, this bar is hitting the axle, which is limiting it on how far it can flex that way. But other than that, it's still got pretty good flex, especially how big it is. But other than that, it works fine. I'm just surprised there's so many joints on the rear arm. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Very long arm suspension, which helps. Interesting. I can't really find anything else to check out. If I had a better area to test it in, it would be nice. Or that would be nice, but I'm kind of limited as what I can do right now. This is interesting. Pretty cool vehicle. It'd be pretty nice in survival. It would handle everything quite well. Got a little bit of space where you could put chests instead of just kind of random stuff for storage, and then it would get around very well. The rear suspension could probably be a bit stiffer just to handle the extra weight, but other than that, it was awesome. Pretty fun to drive, too. It's a little hard to drive because of how tippy it is, how top heavy and how much body roll there is. It wants to roll. But if I'm careful and keep that in mind, it actually drives pretty well. Cool. Alrighty. Not much else to check out on it, so I'm going to move on to the next one. And then just a simple tie rod on the front to link the front wheels together. Awesome. Kind of your typical thing, other than the... excuse me. Kind of your typical suspension, other than this part. And then up there, it's just kind of stuck there. I'm surprised it's staying there. It's definitely different. But I like different. I like it when... One sec. I like it when vehicles are done a little bit different and interesting. Because I've never seen suspension done like that before. But I have to move on to the next one. Which is Repose Garage by R. Who is R? Come on. No description, build vanilla. Okay. It looks like it's just like living pods from by the workshop. How do I get in? Button? Ooh, interesting. Ooh. The door doesn't quite want to work right, and having it go through the floor kind of bothers me a bit. A bit bigger than the normal sleeping pods, but this is pretty cool. You can kind of get into the bottom for storage, it looks like. Yep. I like that. I like being able to get into the bottom for storage and stuff. Yeah, it's basically just a rebuild of the sleeping pods that are in survival. A little vent there, it looks like. Another door switch, yep. I wonder why the door won't close. Check out this room. You should have the door come out and then up, not at the same time. That's probably why it's not closing properly. This is the same thing, except for we can't get down into the bottom. Or, nope. Interesting. I don't see a light switch or anything anywhere. That's fine. Back down here. Same door. Got your numbers above them. And then... oh, interesting. There's a robot back there. And then other than that, this one looks the same as well. Table. Cool. I like how you remade these. It makes them way more usable. Especially with having the storage space under the bottom, you could put a little bit of storage space on top as well. And I'm just curious. Yeah, there's a Haybot in there. That's funny. It's kind of glitch welded to fit, but that's funny. I think it's supposed to be up in the middle one, but whatever. It's awesome. The normal vanilla ones should be a bit more like this, especially with the extra space. Because you could store so much stuff down here. I'm not sure what else to check out with it, so I think I'm going to move on to the next creation, but yeah, it's pretty cool. It's huge. Like, it's definitely bigger than the vanilla one. But I think the vanilla ones would definitely... leftovers from building, I assume. I think the vanilla ones should definitely be a bit more like this. They'd fit in better. They'd make a bit more sense, being properly made out of the blocks rather than how they are made. Yeah, this looks really good. I wonder if these doors are closed. Oh, oh, that one closed. What about this one? Gotta smack it to get it to go in. But yeah, using a controller and then adjusting when they move would help a lot. And then having all this for collision isn't quite necessary, but it works. Yeah, this is pretty cool. I don't know what else to check out on it. There's not really any switches or anything to do. But it definitely looks good. Like, it looks pretty much exactly the same as the normal vanilla one. Ooh, I like it. But I am going to move on to the next build, because I can't find anything else to check out. That's really cool. I do a couple things differently, but ooh, lag. But other than that, that's awesome. I wasn't expecting it to be so big. Next, we have Trophy Truck 21 by Ripsaw 711. Newest trophy truck. It has new bump stop tech and has good handling / suspension, and then one is for the light bar. Good looking bodywork, interesting fenders. Kind of weird using suspension for the fenders. And then there too, probably be out of the way for that, I'm assuming. Rear suspension, got your spring within a piston, that's different. I'm now stuck, so let's fix that. Interesting. This is probably the sway bar on the back. I don't see where the bump stops are. They're probably built into there or something. And on the front we have what would be pretty much a double A-arm with the same interesting suspension setup. That's really weird. This is also vanilla, so is the other build, so I'm curious at how this works. There's a spring. Is it just completely compressed or something? Then we have, it looks like a V8. Can't really see it, but looks like there's a V8 tucked in there too. Simple interior, a little bit of a dash, a little bit of a shifter and handbrake. Switch tucked in there for the light bar. And that's bright. That looks good as a light bar though. I like how having a glitch welded together makes it look like there's a little circle in the middle. Spare, and that looks like it's about it. I'm going to lift it up from the center. We can kind of check out the suspension a bit more. That's definitely a sway bar. And then, yeah, it looks like... Okay, so it's just the springs are upside down. Looks like the sway bar might be limiting the rear axle from dropping out. And same on the front, they're just kind of upside down. Interesting things. There's glitch welded bearings in there. Interesting. As it sits down on my head. Come on, let me out. Interesting. I'm really curious at how this is going to handle. This handles really well. So it looks like the normal suspension allows the axle to drop down more. And then the pistons work as the bump stops, it looks like. I'm assuming. Here a bit of suspension travel. A lot of suspension travel, actually. Handling the bumps pretty well. Could be a tiny bit stiffer, but it's fine. Handles pretty well, too. Minimal to no stability glitch. It just soaks up the smaller bumps. That's nice. Is it two-wheel drive or all-wheel drive? It is all-wheel drive. Got some interesting stuff going on with this rear sway bar. Is there a front sway bar? I don't think so. Yeah, this handles really well. Is there... I can't tell if... I don't think there's any camber or anything going on, but there's definitely some interesting stuff going on with the glitch welding. Got most of the drivetrain in it too. Just missing the rear drive shaft, which is kind of hard to put in since it doesn't properly connect. That's fine. Yeah, this handles really well. It's a little bouncy. But it's bouncy when it bottoms out, which is typical for a scrap mechanic. Handles pretty well. It seems to understeer a tiny bit, which is bound to happen at higher speeds. Especially since we only have digital controls and no analog input. Actually, no. It doesn't understeer all that much. I'm surprised at how well this handles. Especially with how fast it's going. This would be really fun to race. This would be a lot of fun to race. And it's really fast. And it looks pretty good. It's so weird using suspension for bodywork. Like, it works, it would keep it light, and it looks different. It looks unique. It's really good. The front end kind of reminds me of my old white one. Yeah, it's pretty predictable too. Really easy to drive. I like it. This is fun. Once again, if I had my proper track for testing on, it would be great, but I don't. And I think that's pretty much it for this one. The front suspension might have a little bit more movement, but the body's probably limiting it a little bit. Awesome. I like it. This is cool. This is a lot of fun. So fast. I'm going to go over these jumps again, go back down to the middle, and then move on to the next, and then I believe last creation for this week. Yeah, this handles really well. It does everything I want it to. It turns really well, I'm surprised. Oops. Alrighty. Time to move on to the next one. I like it when people use the ducting and the lights to make lights like that. It looks really cool. Yeah, ooh, that looks cool. The wedge in the rounded beam thingy. Alright, I'm going to move on to the next one. Next is Old Garage by Stealthy Green. An old style garage that feels cozy. You got everything in there a mechanic would need to work on his cars. Red switches lock the doors. Garage doors may get stuck trying to close. Usually double tapping the switches fixes it. You know, smacking it with a hammer. Alrighty, it looks like this is the front. It'd probably be better if I weld it to a stick or something, so that it is level and a bit less laggy. Okay. This looks really good. It does look like an old style garage. I'm liking it already. I'm only looking at the outside. Got some back windows, a back door, side windows. We'll start off with, let's go up to like the office area first. How does this open? Oh, there's a switch tucked in there. Got a little TV. That's kind of trippy. The light. Nope. Little cash register and computer thingy. This looks cool. It's funny. Where's the shark? Isn't it the shark that makes those noises? Wait, that's only connected to there. That makes that noise? Really? I didn't know that made that noise. And then there's just a controller hidden to get it on an angle. Little cactus. Couch looks good. What'd you use for the couch? That looks really good. Kind of like fabric roll or something. Then we have the plant, water container, full glass on the outside so you can look around. Only thing I would add is a window in here to look outside, but other than that, it looks really good. It's the door. Excuse me. Come down here, we have a tire mounting station. Does this actually... Oh my god, it actually moves. And that is for removing the bead, and then actually, oh my god, that's awesome. This is a balancer. Does it actually spin and stuff? Does it have a button? Oh, it does have a button. Oh my god. That's great. That is so awesome. And then we've got a big, like, chest there, tool chest. Have some storage, wash table, some kind of piping. Looks like it's for the water or something. Back door. Washroom? Yes, washroom. Oh my god. It's got a urinal and everything. Toilet roll holder, plunger. Door. That probably locks it. Yep. There is a light, but I can't find the light switch. It probably turns on with a switch somewhere. Is this the main light switch? Okay. Turn on the lights. This light does turn on. Oh, oh my god, really? It even flickers like it's an old garage. That's funny. Fire extinguisher. Some more piping. Controls for something. Looks like some door controls. Another toolbox. Boxes. Clean up stuff. Radio. And this looks like just like a normal body bay or something. Then we have a lift. I love the lifts you make. These are so good. They work so well. That's cool. I like how it's got the inner piece to it. That'd help with stability. Then a garbage can. And I'm really curious as the doors. Looks like they're mainly piston powered with wheels to like simulate the cable or the springs on the top. Where's the switch? That just the switch for the door? Yeah. Wow. That actually works really well. I've never managed to make a door work so well. I just had to hit it, see what happens. I've tried to make doors like this so many times and they just didn't want to work, but this works surprisingly well. How come you used two sets on this side and just the one on this side? That's interesting. Oh, there couldn't be the bar there because of lifting the vehicles. That makes sense. Then we've got some scaffolding. Oh my god, that light flickers too. Are there any more flickering lights? Doesn't look like there's any more flickering lights, but that's awesome. Watch the door open again. I love bay doors like these. That's great. Are there any flickering lights outside? No flickering lights outside. And then it looks like there's a radio antenna on the roof. I will go jump on the roof really quick. Ooh, lots of stuff up here. We have like an air conditioning unit, some ducting, tower, an extra little piece for the tower it looks like. Some glow, toilet paper. This is awesome, so much detail. Some more piping for everything. Electrical unit it looks like. Oh, I'm impressed. This is awesome. This is one of the best garages I've seen. Unfortunately, this is all I've got time for today. It's also everything that was submitted for today. So I'm going to grab the Volvo again. Wherever it went. Right here. Load everything in as usual. As always, anyone can submit anything. You can either submit it as a comment on this video, Or, as I'd prefer, go into the description, which has a link for my Discord server. On the Discord server, there is... Ooh, I gotta put this over here. On the Discord server, there is a channel for Scrap Mechanic, and then in the Scrap Mechanic... Oh my god, that's laggy. Okay. I'm not going to have this in the picture, I think, or I'll leave it on the left for the picture. So I'll do that in a second. Either way, there is... In the channel for Scrap Mechanic on the Discord server, there is a section for modded community builds and vanilla. Place your creation in the right spot, just so I can kind of keep it organized a bit better. You can create anything you want. As you can tell, there's a big truck, trophy truck, a rally car, a garage, and then the other thingy, the like sleeping pods. That thing. See if I can get it turned around really quick without killing my game. Come on. Turn around. There we go. Okay. So yeah, you can build anything you want, as long as it's appropriate, so nothing like dirty or, you know, R-rated or whatever. Once you're done creating your creation, on the left, give it a name, description if you want, so on, and then upload it to the workshop. On the workshop page, make sure that it's listed so that it can be seen with at least the link. Doesn't have to be public, but at least visible with the link. And then, if your creation does require mods, please list them on the right in required items. You don't need to list every single mod you have, just the ones that the creation uses. You can use Brent Batch's tool, I forget exactly what it's called, to see what required mods are needed. And then take the link, like I said, from the Steam page, and then post it either in the video or on Discord. And on Friday, I will check it out, like this. So, either way, I typically have a challenge, but no special challenge this time. I will make sure to have it for next time. Yeah. As always, thank you very much for sending in creations. I love doing this. I love seeing what people come up with, creativity, and so on. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.